Hello and welcome back to the SKUSavvy YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to continue an earlier series on the Everything Shopify Inventory Management Guide. So if you haven't already, make sure to tune into that video. There will be some overlap, but not a whole lot. We're going to try to keep things different here. I am following this guide, which is available at the SKUSavvy website. And from this guide, we're going to be covering the basics here today. Which is going to be slightly different from the overview, which was in the last video. We'll cover products versus variants versus inventory and the various import tools that you can use for those, as well as some of the fields that make up both the products and variants within your Shopify site. We'll also cover your locations, and we'll go in depth on both making a location a pickup location as well as making that location a delivery. And from the delivery side, we'll cover the Shopify delivery tools and apps that are out there available to manage a local delivery route. We'll also go through custom order fulfillment, although we're not going to spend a lot of time on that because I believe that Shopify is going to get rid of that feature. And so you'll just have separate locations that you can stock inventory at. We'll also cover vendors and what you can do with those vendors. So let's go ahead and jump right in. As you can see, we've already covered this section up here. Down here, we're going to start off with the basics of Shopify inventory management. So let's jump right into our products. As you can see, I'm within the test store here, and we have all of our products listed out. Now, if we click into a product, let's go through some of these fields here. Of course, you have at the top the title, which is going to be shown when you click on a product in the top of your page. So that's going to be the title right there. It also shows up as the product title there on the listing page. You also have the description, which now, if you have seen this, it came out in the Shopify Editions Winter 22. And this is going to be an auto write feature. So what you'll be able to do is give just a couple of keywords, and Shopify will go ahead and automatically write or come up with a description for that product just based off of these keywords. Very helpful if you're doing a lot of products and don't want to spend the mental energy to come up with a product description. Although I do recommend that you be sure to use some real human language within there. Try to make it something that does sound relevant for your customer. I think the AutoRay is a great tool as a starter template for what that description should be, but you really want to make it something that's going to be unique for your customers. I'll also point out that you have the product status over here. So for instance, if you're building a product and don't want it available for your customers to see yet, you can put this product in a draft state, and that's going to not make it available on your public facing site so that you can get all the information set up correctly first before actually going into and having that product go live on your website. Next up, we have the sales channels and apps. So Shopify does enable you to sell a product through multiple different sales channels. And so you may only want to have this product available through your online site, but you may want to have it available through point of sale, Google, Amazon, a number of different channels that are available to sell through here. You can click into manage to change which channels are available for a product to be sold through. You'll have to, of course, manage that connection there and make sure that you have the right credentials. And also, especially if you're listing on Google, you do need to have quite a few new fields that are available for the Google channel. Let's jump down into the product organization, because this is some very important points about the item and the way that it's going to show. First of all, you have the product category, which if we click within here, this is going to give us a variety of different categories that we can list the product under. So we'll have this as an activewear product. This is slightly different from the product type. The product type is the actual taxonomy of the product itself, and these taxonomies are taken from the Shopify guidelines so that you know exactly how this is going to be typed out when someone is searching for your product. The category itself can be customized, and you can have your own categories. These are also different from the product tags. Now, product tags can be used in a variety of different ways. For instance, you might have product tags to distinguish how a product should be shipped, or what kind of packaging that product might use, or unique features about the product that someone who's fulfilling that order should know. These tags can also be used in, say, Shopify Flow, so that you can set up certain flows just based off of the product tag itself. Now, when you're using the API to make a connection, the product categories and tags actually flow into the same bucket. And so they are used kind of interchangeably there. The next one that we want to go through is your vendors. We're going to dive into this a little deeper later on, but vendors are individual to a product and determine how you can purchase that product or make a transfer, which we'll go through here in a bit, how that's going to affect, what vendors you're able to buy this product from within Shopify. The next one up here is our collections. So as you can see, this is already added to our awesome products collection. That makes it available, for instance, on your catalog, to be able to come in and view your products according to collections. So that might be, you might have your navigation centered around these collections. So as you can see, if I click into this collection, we have only a few items compared to the total number of items available on our website here. So that just helps your customers to distinguish between different types of products. You may have a collection that's all of your footwear. You may have a separate collection for your accessories or apparel. And all of these can be added to your navigation to make it much easier for someone to find what they're looking for. You also could set up filters based around these collections or tags within the storefront view of your website. Next up, we have the media for a specific product. Now, media can be both an image and a video. You also can upload multiple different types of media and arrange those in such a way that they're going to view from first to last. So you can position the media in different ways to show one picture first versus another. Now, additionally, on the media, for each of your variants, you can set up a separate image for that variant itself, which makes it easy for someone to, if they're clicking through a color swatch, they can view the gray shirt versus a red shirt and see exactly what that is going to look like when they select that color option. Makes it easy to distinguish the products, and certainly recommend having a different variant image compared to the product image. Now, we should go through that a product holds variants. And even if you just have one product with no variants, you're still creating a variant, or Shopify is still creating a default variant for that product. So when someone buys something, they're actually buying the variant. They're not necessarily just buying the product, although the product does hold some of the general information about which that variant is sold under. Next up, we have the options. So options kind of are your variants. As you can see, we have the size option. We have small, medium, large, XL, XXL. And these are what actually carry over into the variant. So when you set a variant, the option on that variant is going to correlate with the actual variant name itself. So when we set the option as small, we're going to get the information, or we're going to have the option there to set it as a small, and that way we can kind of, again, determine how that product should be set up and related to its variant. Variants are also the place where you hold the product pricing information, the SKU information, the inventory information, and all of those relevant pieces. We'll go into one of those in just a moment. I also just want to point out the search engine listing. So be sure to set this search engine listing. This is what's going to be viewable when someone searches for your product and the search engine pulls that product up. So you want to make sure that that's relevant to the product and is using proper search engine optimization techniques there. Now let's go into a variant here, and we'll be able to set up where exactly that product is listed. As you can see, we have the price and cost here for the item. Now, if you do enter a cost, it will give you the margin information there. We can also see the stock keeping unit, and we can set a barcode for this item. And that's going to make it so that you can use the Shopify Inventory Management app or another app such as SKUSavvy to actually scan that product and bring up the product information there. When we go into one of these variants, this is going to have, again, that same type of information that we saw in the quick view, but now we're going to have, as you can see, we have set an option for the product as size, and we're putting in small as the size for this variant. You can see here that we've added an image specific to this variant. Then again, you have that pricing information, cost information, whether the item is taxable or not. And then you have the inventory information. Now, right now, we're managing this across multiple locations because we're using SKUSavvy to handle all of the inventory management here. And then, some of the other features within here to track quantity. Now, you may choose not to track quantity, which is just going to get rid of the inventory information for this variant. In this case, we are wanting to track quantity. So we're going to see here that we have these various values available on the inventory of this variant itself, which we'll go through in a minute on the actual inventory section. But you can see here that right now we have a committed order for this product at our Savvy warehouse. Available here is 413 and the on hand is 414. So we'll go through what each of those mean. The committed value is saying, okay, how many orders have been placed for this product? How many units do we need to take care of all the orders that are placed here currently? The available is your on-hand value minus the committed. So that's saying, okay, this is what after all of the orders are fulfilled, this is what you're going to have available. And this is the on-hand value showing us that we have 414 within our warehouse because we still have not fulfilled this order and taken care of that committed stock. So that's the difference there. We also have this incoming value, which is going to tell us how many orders or how many products have we ordered from our supplier that we're expecting to come in here. And that's just going to give us a heads up in terms of what we're planning to have come in for this item. You also could set a product as a digital product. So if I uncheck this is just going to get rid of the shipping, right, that we have to do for an order that comes through. So if you are selling a digital product, you would uncheck this, and that will make it easy for you to fulfill the order without actually needing to send that product out. And it does kind of change up the workflow for things within the way that Shopify works. On the weight field, as you can see here, we've entered a weight of 5 ounces. You can select different units for the weight. And you also could apply this weight to all of your variants at once so that they stay the same. Another thing I'll point out here is the country or region of origin, which is very important for, again, here, the customs information that's going to be supplied to the carriers when you produce a shipping label so that you have all the right customs information. When you do send a product overseas or out of country, you'll need the country of origin, the harmonized code for that item. So you'll want to enter that harmonized code. You can get that from a public database, and I'll put that in the link description below. This is also going to include the price or value of the item, and that all gets submitted up to the customs within the country that you're sending from so that you have all that information there and can send that product overseas. Now, let's go into our inventory, since these are both different, right? Our products are different than our inventory, even though on a single product variant, we do have the inventory right within here. Let's go into our actual inventory. And what we can see here is that our inventory is held within locations. So we have a few different locations. And as you can see, when I switch between these, we're going to get different values of inventory on hand versus committed versus available. Now, these locations are going to be narrowed down, and you can also set priorities for where the order should be routed to from your locations. Now, if I go into this single location here, as you can see, you have these committed, available, and on-hand values. Now, we could make ad hoc adjustments here. If you are using SKUSavvy Warehouse Management System, you want to make your changes to inventory within SKUSavvy and that will push up to Shopify. You also can set the correction with and give a reason why you're adjusting this inventory. That makes it easy to just track and give your staff member information about why the quantity was adjusted there. Again, we also have the incoming inventory for this warehouse, which right now we have not yet set a transfer for this warehouse, so we're not going to get that information. Let's very quickly touch on the import templates. So as you can see here, the handle for the product is the URL it's going to show when we click on a product. So if I click into my product, the handle is shown right here. So we have the store link, we have the products, and then we have the handle of this single product. That's when you go ahead and upload products, that's going to be how the URL structure is actually determined there. We have the title, the body, a number of other fields for the product. And then as we go into option name 1 and option value, this is where the information on the product, let's go to this example here. The information on the product fields stay the same, but the variant information changes. So as you can see, when I scroll over from here on over, this is all variant-based information for one specific product. So you only need to do the product information once, but the variants, you might have multiple variants for one product, and so you're going to add all of this information separate for each individual variant. Now this could use a video by itself, so we're not going to dive in too deep here, but let's also take a look at the inventory import. So as you can see here, again, the handle for a specific product, we have the title, the option 1 name, option 2, option 3, etc., to distinguish which. Now I should also say Shopify variants can include 3 different options. So you might have size, color, and brand, for instance. You might have a couple of different options. If you need to go beyond that, you're mostly out of luck. So you want to try to stick to 3 different options for one specific variant at a time. Now you can also see as we go through here, we have the harmonized code, we have the country of origin, then we have each warehouse is listed out as its own column name, and then we have the inventory for that specific warehouse there. Or it may not be stocked at a particular warehouse, and that's just going to upload 0 as the value. So going back into our Shopify store, we've now gone through the inventory. Now, if I click into a specific item here, let's go into one that had a variant. Continue with that. This is just going to take us back into the product and where we can go into our variant to edit the individual inventory on this variant itself. Let's also cover the kitting aspect. So kitting, or bundles as you might know it within Shopify, are a way of putting several product variants together to form another product. Now, Shopify is coming out with a native bundling feature, which will enable you to put several products together to create another product. However, I'm going to show you a very simple way if you're using SKUSavvy to manage this. So what you would end up doing is setting up and creating a product, i.e. your bundle product. Now, you don't actually need the input products on Shopify. You can just have them listed within SKUSavvy. And what we're going to do is just have, again, that product that's set up here. And if I go into the products, you can see on kitting that we have this get it stack kit here. And that, kit is also another word for bundle. So we can see that these 3 products make up this kit. And so if I go into a warehouse and we look at the orders that have been placed for this warehouse, now if I go into the orders and we look at this, we can see that this person has ordered the Get It Stack bundle, but we're just assuming that we haven't yet actually put together this bundle. We haven't built it. And so if I go into the order to fulfill this, we'll go ahead and fulfill this, you can see that SKUSavvy will give you a way to assemble the kit. And so as you can see now, we have each of the 3 individual components that make up the kit that we could go through, pick them, and that will just in line with our batch pick here, that will make it easy to go ahead and assemble that product or bundle right within the order fulfillment. So it makes it very easy to manage the inventory of the input components while not having to do a whole lot in terms of the management of the bundle itself. So let's also go through now our locations. So locations can be accessed through your settings within locations. As you can see, I have 3 different locations here. What you're going to want to pay attention to is setting your default location. The default location is going to give you a place where by default we should route the orders to this location if we haven't already given another location. So as you can see here, we'll use when no other location is specified. Now, usually an order may come through with the location specified, but if not, then we're going to route everything to this location. So that's going to be our default location for right now. We can also set a location priority, which is going to give us the ability to rearrange our warehouses so that as orders come through, we want to default to our Savvy warehouse to fulfill everything there. If we don't have the inventory available there, or if we're not able to fulfill that order for one or another reason, then we're going to default to our Austin warehouse. So each of these does make an impact when you look at where the order is actually routed to and which warehouse should be fulfilling that order with the inventory that they have. So you want to set that up. They also have these custom fulfillment locations. Now, again, we already have a custom fulfillment location here. However, I would encourage you not to use the custom fulfillment location because Shopify is going to get rid of that functionality. So we're not going to do a whole lot with this right now, but as of right now within Shopify, it does enable you to store inventory at this location. And what happens when an order comes through and it's going to this custom fulfillment is your fulfillment provider will get an email of that order that they can then go ahead and manage the fulfillment of that order. So we're not going to go through that again, as I said, just because that's going to make things a little bit more complex if you try to set those up and then very soon they get rid of that. Let's touch a little bit more on the locations themselves. So if I click within a location, you can see we have the location name, we have an address for that location, just the basic information on this location itself. But the important part about locations is that within your shipping and delivery settings, you can see here that we have local delivery and local pickup. So on the local delivery side, as you can see here, we have the Austin warehouse offers delivery. So we can click into here and we can say, yes, this location offers local delivery, and we can set a delivery area. So you may choose to have just specific zip codes that when someone goes through the checkout of your storefront and they enter a zip code within this array of zip codes that you've specified, they will get the option of a delivery. You also could set a delivery radius. As you can see here, we just have it set up as a delivery radius. I should say the zip codes also come into, they're handy when you may not be able to sell products out of state, for instance, in alcohol or tobacco. That makes it easy to make sure that the zip code that you are going to deliver to is within the region that you need to stay for taxes and compliance reasons. As you can see here, we have the delivery zone. I've set it up with a delivery zone name. We're going to deliver within 100 miles of our location. You can also set a minimum order price here. So for instance, the delivery we might set and say, okay, yeah, we want $100 minimum as the total order price before we're going to actually deliver that order or enable that option during checkout. You also could set a delivery price. So we might say that we're going to charge someone $5 for that delivery. Instead of a shipping fee, they're just assessed a $5 delivery fee. You also could set some additional pricing there between different limits or having the various limits on the high end so that you can keep the orders that are going to be delivered within that range. You also have a few apps that can manage the delivery. So we have an app here installed on this store right now called Easy Routes Local Delivery. This is one, but there are a number of different options available. Now, on our guide here, you can see that the Shopify local delivery app was shown, but they have since done away with this. So it's no longer relevant, unfortunately. But this does, there's a variety of apps out there that will enable you to create routes and deliver product from this route. So, we can go ahead and set our start location. We can assign a driver here with this app. Now, there may be other apps that you want to use. This is just one for examples that we're going to have within here. But there's a variety of different apps on the store that you should look through and evaluate which is going to satisfy your requirements from a delivery perspective. So if we go back into the locations, into our shipping and delivery settings, we've covered the local delivery. Now let's also cover the local pickup. And actually, just to show what that local delivery looks like, let's go into the checkout page for our store to show these options. So as you can see, if we go into our checkout page, I've got this product here that I'm going to be purchasing. And on the delivery method, if you do have one of these locations set to have a local pickup or a local delivery, you'll be able to show your customers the options. So they may choose to ship it or they might pick it up if their address is closest to your location. So as you can see, when I select the pickup option, we now get the option to pick this up from our Savvy warehouse, which is far away in this case, but depending on the settings that you have on your local delivery or local pickup, you're going to get slightly different options. As you can see within the local pickup option, we can check this off to make it available, and then we can make this ready, give a expected pickup time. Now you may have faster pickup time if you have a smaller store that that you're going to be able to have that order ready right away. Usually we suggest trying to keep this as minimum as you can, although there certainly will be times where you need a little bit longer. So you can give some instructions for your pickup there. And again, that's just going to give your customers an option during their checkout so that they can go ahead and select that for pickup. That will come in as a regular order to your store, but it will have the delineation that it's going to be a pickup order so that you can fulfill it and get it ready, and that will notify your customer that the order is ready for pickup. Now, I should also point out that if you are using SKUSavvy, as you can see here, this is the visual warehouse layout on SKUSavvy. We're within an order fulfillment at this time, so we're just going to go ahead and set this up. And as you can see, when we go in to package this order up, we'll get an option to mark this as fulfilled. When you set that to mark it as fulfilled, if the order was a pickup order, that will make it very easy for you to fulfill the order, update your customer, and all the information will send back to Shopify. You also could attach a separate tracking label, maybe have your own in-house label. For now, we'll just skip that. So now I've manually fulfilled this order, and that's just going to update back to Shopify with the relevant information that that order is ready for pickup. Makes it very easy. Also, if you are routing and delivering orders, as you can see within SKUSavvy, if you go into the feature settings, you'll have the batch zones where you can put together specific zip codes that you want to batch your orders by and have that available for customers. So we've now covered our local pickup and delivery options. Those certainly are good to have in place. A bunch of other options within here on the Shopify shipping side that we're going to cover at a later date. For now, let's also cover our vendors very quick and go back into that. So if you are using vendors within your products, you'll see this transfers. And when you go ahead and create a transfer, the origin can actually be a supplier, or in this case, it's going to be our vendor. So by default, when you add products and you add a vendor, it's going to show up as an optional supplier there. Now, Shopify also uses Stocky. We prefer SKUSavvy because it does have quite a few more advantages in terms of being able to manage all of your fulfillment and warehousing and inventory options. But if you are using Stocky, they do have your vendors within here. And as you click into a vendor, you'll be able to see what products are carried by that vendor and what the stock levels are out there. It also, on your transfers, gives you a way to provide the vendor and then select the products and be able to almost create like a purchase order for that product. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today. As you can see, we have covered all this. There we go. The difference between vendors and suppliers. As you can see, products can only have one vendor, but under a supplier, products can have multiple suppliers. So a variety of differences there just to take a look through. On the next video, we're going to go a little bit more in depth on transfers and supplies. We're also going to cover adjustments and returns. Shopify just introduced a customer-centric returns feature as well that we'll cover. So stay tuned for the next video. And as usual, if you have not already, make sure to head over to SKUSavvy where you can get a full warehouse management system that does enable you to have a visual layout of all of your bin locations. And of course, also enables you to go through the pick, pack, ship for all of your orders in an efficient manner around the warehouse, grabbing all of your product, making it very easy to handle high volume storefronts. We'll see you on the next video. Check out SKUSavvy.com/register if you haven't already to create your free SKUSavvy account. Thank you very much.